Before this video gets started, what's up, Pass family? Just want to apologize to you guys for the audio. We did the stream the day before, and we did the Mayweather stream. We forgot to turn the microphone back into our actual snowball mic, so the microphone sound is actually coming from our camera. So please, still enjoy the video, you guys. Please go ahead and like, share, do all of that other good stuff, and enjoy the video.
Leave your man, leave your man, leave your man, leave your man, leave your man. Yeah, I bet you leave your man. I'm a young rich nigga with a plan.
They call this man the 30-year-old phenom. He is a big Los Angeles Lakers fan. He makes the sickest edits out of any Lakers channel out there in the YouTube universe. He is the more handsome side of the community manager staff at NBA2K. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Chris Manning, aka LD2K.
We have
LD2K in here. Everybody give that man a round of applause. Everybody give that man a round of applause. Welcome him into the THB home. Mr. LD, how you doing today, sir?
Go ahead.
Well, how you guys doing tonight? I was listening to your discussion and it got me excited, so I wanted to hop in here.
Definitely
chat with you guys.
Oh, definitely. You already know that if somebody was gonna have to take the torch up and talk about it, it might as well have been
You know
us.
what I'm saying? I think it was also the presentation I got too.
But I think
you know what I'm saying?
it
It looked real professional. You know
Okay,
what I'm talking about?
so let's just get into this right now, you guys. I know y'all want us to ask a bunch of questions, so let's get into it right now. So LD, let's ask you a couple of questions. So we've been looking at the NBA2K18 gameplay so far. The biggest thing that me and my brother have been concerned about, it's definitely been the defensive aspect. Can you let us know if defense or offense is 50-50? If playing defense, you're definitely rewarded for playing great defense. You won't get caught into bad things like that, like bad animations just for being in position. Like, will you be rewarded this year for really playing great defense?
I think so. I think there was a lot of things with NBA 2K17 that, you know, stonewalling defense, as mentioned in Mike Wang's blog. And for everybody listening, like, a lot of people kind of skimmed over Mike's blog. Like, really go and read it, because that has a lot of knowledge in there. And tomorrow, actually, I made a tweet about an hour ago. We're going to have an AI, and some of the defense will be addressed in that, in terms of what the team has done, and that was written by Scott O'Gallagher. So there's a really awesome blog coming in the morning to Operation Sports that you definitely want to read. But from my experience, you know, the things that I kind of listened to the fans about, and some of my complaints to the dev team was like, you know, the stonewalling defense, where no matter what, you just couldn't get past the guy, and there was problems with, I think there was issues with speed last year that has been completely addressed. I know the gameplay guys that got to go out to the dev session, they really enjoyed it because they could see the speed difference. There's a new speed system in the game, right? So it allows quicker players to get around slower defensive players. I think the thing you're going to see a lot this year is cutting off angles defensively. You're going to have to play a lot smarter. People that used to spam the steal button, which is something, again, a lot of fans complained about. Not my favorite thing when a guy's just reaching and hitting that button. I think you're going to see a difference in those kind of players that are going to try to be stealing. They're going to get burnt by the offensive player a lot better, a lot quicker this year, especially with the speed differential. That's one thing you guys are going to feel. And, you know, you can watch 2K18 gameplay. Obviously, it's at GameStop Expo and people are seeing stuff. And I love how it's like 2017, but somehow people have flip phones from like 10 years ago, because that, you know, that's
Somebody probably agrees with me.
Well, LD,
He agrees with me.
Can you agree?
Gameplay.
Okay, let me say this, LD. Can you agree though? I mean, they are going to the expo. They can't necessarily record. So I mean, guys are trying to sneak in whatever they can, like their grandmama's little pocket phone or somebody's flip phone or something. I mean, the iPhone is so easily, it's seeable. It's so big, so seeable. I mean, you can't really blame people. I mean, when you go to these expos, I mean, guys are not supposed to record. So they're trying to find something cheap that's $30 where they can sneak the gameplay and get it and give it to the fans. So, I mean,
yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, people are excited, and you got a glimpse of the 5v5 gameplay today in the trailer with Kevin Garnett and Kobe, and the presentation trailer. That was really cool. So, you know, more is coming, obviously, and I will say that on Thursday it's going to be a special day. But going back to your question real quick, I think the thing about defense this year is guys are quicker laterally, and really it's a game of cutting off angles. You know, if you want to try to play up tight on certain players, you're going to get burned. If you're going to try to, you know, maybe try to double team in certain situations, you're going to get burned. There's a lot of new features, even just with passing and being able to make those quick passes and passing across the court, stuff like that. It's a lot more smooth. And it's one thing to watch this and kind of say, oh, this is how it felt in 2K17, but I'm really excited for fans to get their hands on it and make that decision for themselves come the prelude, in early September. And obviously we have a lot to talk about on Thursday as well, which is why I'm up, by the way, working on what we're doing Thursday. So a lot of fun stuff ahead. But I think defense is definitely one of the things that a lot of people wanted to see improvements on. And again, I urge everybody here asking for details to go read Mike Wang's blog. And, I can't wait for fans to try it out because I think it's just a dramatic improvement over last year.
Okay, and all right, so with the defense being improved and improving offense, I definitely want to ask you a question about the shot meter. I know you've been seeing a lot of people's the chats on YouTube and chats on Twitter, and it passes you guys a lot. A lot of people are I've been seeing a lot of people complain about the shot meter. A lot of people saying that they don't understand it. They're looking at the feedback and I saw with the cheap trailer that they showed. I mean, not the trailer, but the gameplay that they showed. I mean, a guy hit a green light and it was fully contested. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the shot meter? Help us out with the being heavily contested but still able to hit greens. Is that only for certain characters? Like for players like Steph Curry, who does it all the time, or Kobe Bryant, who does it all the time, and James Harden does it all the time. But what about players who aren't like who don't make shots like that? Can they hit heavily contested green lights as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's something that actually Mike Wang and the producers talked to at the dev gameplay feedback session. There's actually talk of if players should be able to hit greens with contested, contested hand draped all over them. So that's actually something that could be addressed. I saw that in the trailer as well. So I could definitely get back to you on that. I think they're looking at possibly tweaking that. It just kind of depends. The room was actually split on that 50-50, right? Because I talk about it all the time. If it happens in real life, like I'm a fan of Kobe. I watched Kobe for 20 years of his career hit tough shots, possibly the most tough shot, the tough shot hitter in NBA history, right? We celebrate that as fans, right? We see Jordan, kind of shake, do the fadeaway hand all over him. That's a great shot. Happens in 2K, that's BS, right? Like that's kind of how fans look at it. So there's two ways of kind of thinking about it. I would like to see it personally, just my take on it. I would like to see if you're contested, you shouldn't hit greens. I think that should be safe for open shots. But the thing that I want to iterate is two things about the shot meter. So when you're shooting this year, we're bringing back the sense of not relying on a meter. So like personally, I was never a fan of the meter underneath the feet because I feel like people were watching the meter and they're saying, hey, I timed this right. I deserve to make that shot. I see people tell me all the time, I should make 100% of great releases when I'm wide open. And my answer to them is, well, how come anybody in NBA history that was wide open, if you look at those stats when they're not contested, no one shot 100%. Right? And so you have to kind of think of it through balancing out shooting percentages and stuff like that. But what I will say is two things. And the guys, D-Man, I'm Annoying, Brian Mazik, the guys that were there for the dev gameplay feedback session. And obviously, this Thursday, I'm sure there's going to be some surprises in store. But when you shoot the ball this year, it's not so reliant on perfect releases. Like that whole crutch of perfect releases, I think you're going to see guys hitting a lot more shots based on timing, but it's also based on different factors. And Mike Wang, again, broke this down in his blog. The feedback that you see at the top of the screen is probably my favorite thing about NBA 2K, because when I talk to a lot of pro players, their ideology was, well, I timed it right, so it should go in. And I think when the game starts to say, hey, we're not going to let you know why you missed that shot or if that was a good or bad shot, when you don't have that information, then it looks like the game is making that decision for you. So I really enjoy what the producers have done this year, because you have various factors, 3 or 4 factors that go into a shot. It's not solely based on timing. And one other thing is you're going to get back to looking at the release of shots, and the controller will also vibrate at the peak of your shot. So if you have that feature on, you'll actually feel it in your hands, because I think what the goal was is for it to feel more fluid when you're shooting, as opposed to just looking and basing all of your shot perception solely on timing. Timing's one factor. How contested are you? How open are you? Those are other factors, right? So, and if it's a good or bad shot or not, right? So, playing up to the player's tendencies, guys that shouldn't be hitting running fadeaways shouldn't be hitting those kind of shots just because they could time it well last year. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I think it's smarter, and I really love the feedback system this year, because I think when players are playing, especially higher level players, and the players that are really into playing like an NBA 2K17's Pro-Am and stuff like that, those are the players that want that information there. They don't want to rely on, well, I just don't know why I missed that shot. Now you have those factors, and you're going to know why you made or missed the shot. And I think that's really exciting. But going back to the making a green release contested, I think that's something that the producers are talking about, and they definitely talked to the group that was there about that exact thing in the dev gameplay feedback session. And interestingly enough, they were pretty split on that. So that was interesting.
Okay. Jay, you want to ask him? Okay, so
I actually do have a question.
Go ahead, man.
I would like to ask about the rebounding mechanics this year. Did see in 17, whenever there was a glass cleaner, it pretty much, whether you had him boxed out or not, he got the board over you just because of his role in position and the bags that he had. So what I'm asking is, in 2K18, is that actually fixed due to the fact that if I'm in position, whether it's a center or not, should I be able to obtain that rebound because I actually have full position over him and I have him boxed out, or will he still be able to snatch the ball over me?
It just depends on position. And one thing that's new, I think that fans are going to see, without going into too much details, you're going to see players battling for loose rebounds. So they might both jump and knock the ball up in the air, and now it's kind of like a little bit of a dogfight. And it doesn't happen often, but you're going to see that where it makes sense. And I think that's one of the cool things about rebounding. The best way I can describe the game, and I'm going to quote one of the guys that was from the dev gameplay feedback session, because I can sit here and try to tell you my opinion and my viewpoints on it, and it'll always seem biased because I work at 2K, but I'm out here playing every night. Like I was just playing NBA 2K17 Pro-Am with Dirk all weekend long, pretty much all day on Sunday. I love playing the game every single night, just like fans. So the best way I can kind of describe all these new systems, the pick and roll system's completely new. The rebounding system you're going to see is revamped. Like D-Man said, the game just makes more sense. It's just more logical. And I think that's a great way of putting it, because there's a lot of things that happen. I think that the variables of 2K17 that took and it was too many variables. That's what frustrated people, in my opinion, just based on the feedback that I've read and playing the game. And I think what the producers and the gameplay team was able to do this year is just, it's a lot of fun. It's fast, it's fun, makes a lot more sense. Some of those frustrations, I believe, are gone. And, the main thing that I think the fans were talking about with rebounding and more is like, we don't want to see the game change too many times via patches, right? Like we want the gameplay to stay vanilla, and I think there's definitely some truth to that. And I think you won't see a repeat of what happened last year with a lot of patches drastically changing the game. I think we're gonna really look at what exploits are if those pop up, and people lab the game day in and day out when 2K comes out. We love that about our fans. They're so passionate. They'll find things that you would never ever find in a million years. You know what I mean? So like any other developer out there, they're going to be watching for stuff like that, as will I, and keeping an eye on stuff like that. But the game is just super logical this year, and it's a lot of fun in various ways. The post rebounding, I think players are going to absolutely feast with the new speed system and the speed difference this year. There's a lot of times last year where you would have the ball and a player chasing you would either cut you off from the side, which didn't make a lot of sense. Again, coming back to that stonewalling effect. And really the best way I can explain it is when you're in position, it makes sense. You should get that rebound. Yeah. But at the same time, you're not going to get 100% of them. And I think the rebound battles are one of my favorite things, just like loose ball battles. You saw that in the trailer. You saw Kawhi kind of jump over a guy leaping on the ground and stuff. And they talked about that in the gameplay blog as well. And it's just a lot of fun, man. There's a lot of interactions in battles. I remember D-Man and I were playing a head-to-head game, and I was dribbling with Lonzo. He kind of stripped the ball back court. He dove for it. Barely missed it with his fingertips, so it kind of like just bumped the ball another direction. I dove on the ground, and then his secondary defender came and dove on the ground. It was just like we just laughed because it was such a great moment. It was like a battle for that loose ball as opposed to just going out of bounds or seemingly the defender or the offensive player just picking it up right away. It just feels a lot more alive, and there's a lot of these like battles that occur this year that I think fans are really going to enjoy. So again, I keep saying this, but definitely go read Mike Wang's blog and really read it and try to understand it. And as you watch gameplay, that's one thing, but September 8th, that Prelude drops. I can't wait for fans to feel it, because the feel of the game is what was most important to the producers this year, as Mike said in his blog, and I just totally agree with that 100. 100%. The feel of the game is really beautiful this year.
Well, I can definitely say this. Looking at the game so far, like you guys have just, I don't know. Me and Dirk were saying this earlier. Like, well, actually, me and Justin were saying this earlier, and Dirk ended up bringing this up. We were saying that for us, looking at video games, sports games, it's so hard for us to see it go to another level. Like, how much higher can sports games go, like graphically and, you know, with the physics? Because I mean, basketball really doesn't change. It's always the same. And we know that you try to hold back for every year to add new things the next year. Because, you know, if you add everything in one game, you know, they'd be like, well, this is the best 2K that we ever made because you put everything in it. So might as well just have this only one. So, how hard is it to actually get the game smoother? I mean, like, I hate to say it, but the definition of smoother is such a toss-up. It's such a toss-around term because nobody really understands the meaning of smooth. So how are you guys able to smoothen out the gameplay from 17 to 18? I can see it definitely, but how are you guys actually able to smooth the game out?
Again, I'm going to reference Mike's blog, and I know I'm doing that a lot, but I'm trying to kind of elaborate on what he was saying. The best way I can put it is last year, there were a lot of animations that you could not control, right? And people got frustrated with that. So what they did this year, as it was written in articles, Game Informer had an article on it. And again, I urge you to go read the feedback from people that played the game, right? From your favorite influencers that were out here for the dev gameplay feedback session. The best way to put it is the branching system, as they call it. Everything is a branching system. If you get caught on a pick, you can get off of it. If you get caught off, you know, if you're trying to roll over a screen, you can roll back. You don't have to finish an animation. If you're dribbling, you could chain together really nasty combos this year. Nothing is gonna like really put you, and that's the goal, right? You don't want to take away control from the user. So that was really the first step, I think, from 17 to 18, giving control to the user, making it very free-flowing and making it very smooth in that sense. Because when you start taking away that stuff and you say, okay, now I have branching systems in every system that we have, it's not controlled by animations. And that's like the number one thing I think you guys would agree with gameplay is I hate getting stuck in animations. I hate it, right? So that was a big focus for the team this year. And there's things that you sacrifice when you make that change, but I feel like it's hard to explain, man. The game is really fun this year. It's really fun. It's really smooth. And I think people that put in the time to differentiate themselves, but you know, we talked about it last year with the stick skills, right? And if you remember, 17 was a drastically different game at the beginning than it was post patches, right? So like, again, that's something we talked about the dev gameplay feedback session from the influencers, but this game really is going to benefit those that know what they're doing, playing smarter. And we look at those things that people were doing to try to, you know, the constant reaching and stuff like that. And Mike and his team did a great job of addressing a lot of that stuff. So the big answer is there's a lot that goes into it. And, you know, we have the Mike Wang's gameplay blog, right? I think when you read Scott's gameplay blog tomorrow, you're going to really see how it's expanded, how it's smarter, and how the AI is. And I'm not going to lie, man. I read his blog and I just want like shed a tear. I'm like, I just don't understand what you guys do, man. You know, it's really beautiful stuff, man. I think people are going to find out about things tomorrow that's going to really excite them about the gameplay, especially for the hardcore fans. Like, you do not want to like miss that blog.
Okay, so I know my brother has one. My brother has one question to ask you.
I got two questions, but I'm asking this one because this is more important.
Okay.
Mr. LD, you know, I don't mean to pry into some business or some files, but you know, is it possible for us to maybe, you know, like maybe like with whipped cream and cherry on top, like maybe discuss the conspiracies or theories, you know, maybe on this my park and playgrounds? Like, can we touch on these topics? Like maybe, like possibly? No.
I will say this: you were, I think your brother, right? Your brother was just talking about how far can you go in years, right? Like, how can better circle the time? 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. We're going to be live from all our social channels, live from New York, unveiling my career, park, much more. Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
Okay. So like,
listen.
Like,
Wait, hold on,
wait.
But for all the fans in here,
circle the date.
Like,
for all the fans that have been
can we get some exclusives, like something?
Listen, we asked the question. We asked the question. A lot of y'all fans have been wanting to ask. You guys want to know about it? We asked it. You guys got to tune in this week. You're gonna get all your answers, your questions answered, so we can. He's gave you the answer. You guys gotta tune in this week. We're gonna find out all of our answers, and it's Thursday, right, LD?
Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Circle that date. Call off your dates. You know, ignore mom's request to come over for food and dinner. Like, end everything. This is what you want to be. This is what you want to tune into. Believe me.
Can I call off work too? Like, can you call my boss and tell my boss that I don't have to come in because this is an important date? Like, I'll give you his number too. Like, can you call my boss and text him? Send him an important text?
That's on you to figure out, man. I remember when 2K8 dropped, I missed college for a week. That was like the worst decision, but best decision of my life. You know, that's just how it is, right? Gotta make those sacrifices.
No, LD. I need you to do it so that it's more important. Because if I do it, he's not gonna believe me. He's not gonna believe me.
Okay.
You don't have the cloud. That's that Ronnie 2K stuff, you know. You need Ronnie to
okay.
Okay. So
right.
I have to ask you this question because I know this also it gets to a lot of people. And it's one of the biggest things that I even talked to Dirk about this a while ago. We had a stream and we were all debating about NBA Live and 2K, and we were talking about stamina. So in NBA Live, like, you run out of stamina very, very fast. In 2K17, you didn't run out of stamina fast at all. But there's punishments for running out of stamina in live. Is there punishments for running out of stamina in 2K18? I know about the new stamina. If you over dribble, you know, you get very, very tired. Your shot is bad. But is there penalties? Like, is there penalties for running out of stamina completely? Does your player just lose the ball? Can you touch on that a little bit more for us?
Probably not in the detail that you want, just because I don't know that system. But what I can say, again, referencing Mike's blog, yeah, there's stamina, there's definitely penalties, and we want people to play smarter. And that's kind of where I can leave that one at. So you definitely don't want to be running around with the ball and trying to jack up a shot at the end of a shot clock with one player ISOing the whole possession. You're not going to have a lot of success this year.
Well, that's good to hear.
That's great.
It needs to be a smarter game. Right? Like, we're always trying to make it authentic and smarter. And sometimes you can make adjustments within that cycle, within that year. Sometimes you can't, right? So, you know, I really do believe, like, this year it's going to reward a lot of smarter players than trying to do some of the stuff that people got away with in the past. Spamming steal, over dribbling, stuff like that.
I like the sound of that. You know, you speaking my language, LD. You're talking to me, and you tell me what I want to hear.
Well, I
got one question.
Okay, you got a question? Go ahead, Jay. Jay got the good ones. You know,
I mean,
like, I'm trying to hit LD with the tough ones,
bro. And by the way, I want to say one more thing too for those people out there that are wondering. The whole pick and roll system is completely revamped, completely new. So, brick wall is a thing of the past. Like, get over how, you know, those dual screens, waiting for the player to get hit and fall to the ground. Like, that was definitely a major issue last year, and something that really was, I think, voiced by the fans. So, you know, the pick and roll system is awesome this year, and I think that's something that, you know, fans are going to be really happy about, especially, you know, players that like modes like team up and those 5v5 modes, all that good stuff.
Well, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you on that pick and roll system. You see, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta ask the right questions to get what you want to hear. He ain't gonna tell you everything, but you gotta talk the right talk.
You're right. Let me say this because this probably gonna be like one of the last questions.
I just got one more question.
Yeah, I got one of my last questions. This is the most important thing to me, and Dirk knows that this is the most important thing to me. As a passer, and I take passing very, very seriously. One thing that I can honestly say is about 2K17. I always heard this excuse. I mean, I would get 7 assists a game or 8 assists a game in park, you know, and playing as a passer in 2K17, it didn't feel as rewarding. Why? Because people always had excuses on, well, the defense can't play good enough defense. They don't have the tools to play defense against players, especially you could just over lob and just throw lobs the whole entire game to slashers or athletic finish or glass cleaners. Lobs are overpowered, or you can just keep throwing flashy passes and you can't steal them. I always felt like being a passer, it feels unrewarding sometimes. And obviously the spotlight never goes to the passer. In 17, it always goes to the person that's taking ankles. in 2K18, will passing be more of a thing to master? Like, you know, do you understand what I mean? Like, can you master passing to where there's a difference between a guy that just picked up 2K throwing passing and trying to find open guys, and there's a guy that's been playing a long time, and finding open guys. There's a complete difference where passing is something to master instead of something just to do.
One of the things you can now like kind of you can choose between like short passes versus long skip passes by like tapping the pass button or holding the pass button. And this is something that's at first is going to take, I think, a couple weeks for people to get used to. It's definitely one of the things that was kind of crazy at first, but once you master that, you know, you want to bullet passes over to corners sometimes, and I think sometimes the defense could rotate faster than the passing, and it shouldn't be that way. And one other thing, I know a lot of people have seen it in the trailer today, when you see the spacing on the floor, this is something that a lot of people are happy about, and I love, because I think the spacing is phenomenal this year. So, you know, people that play defense trying to play consistently one way are going to have issues, I think, against good passers and good passing. And just from the 2K18 games that I played, like, passing is definitely something that's just really beautiful this year. And having the option to do these kind of things, there's, you know, you can receiver control where you can actually control who you want to throw it to. So in the past, we had, you know, the cutting, and then it would automatically pass them. And the bad thing about that was, if you were holding it, and let's say your player ran right behind the defender, you would have to let go of the button. At some point, it would throw it right to the defender, right? So now you control the receiver in the new receiver controls. And let's take full control of the receiver, and you could just basically come and do a dribble handoff. That's still in the game if you run him up, or you can, you know, backdoor or pull him out to the wing. Whatever you got to do, you have full control over that. So that's gonna, I think, change a lot of the way that elite passers kind of pass, and then you'll see just how fluid thing continues to improve year over year. And to answer your question, you know, like, it's always the goal, I think, of everything, whether it comes to dribbling or passing or scoring, is to, you know, allow players to have a difference in the way they play, and, you know, find that skill gap. And I do believe this year firmly that there's going to be a big skill gap in gameplay, you know, especially with all the esports stuff coming ahead and all that good stuff. So I think the team did a really good job, and, you know, they're going to continue to listen to fans and do all that good stuff. I told Dirk the other day, what did I say, Dirk? What am I making this year? I want to be a playmaker this year, you know, like I want to be a point guard this year. Okay. When I play team up, whatever other rumored modes there are, you know, I want to be whatever rumored game was there. Okay. All right. When I'm balling in kindergarten, apparently that's a rumor.
Oh no. For playgrounds, I'm skipping nap time. I'm going straight to the gym after nap time. I'll get my juice box. I'm grinding to 7th grade AAU ball. I'm going to the NBA where I'll play Jackson Ellis for the 5th season.
That's right. I'm dunking on everybody with my Fisher Price toys.
Like I think, you know, that's the thing, just the improvements. And again, you can read, I definitely recommend, again, I'm going to say this over and over like a broken record, definitely read the blog from Mike Wang, and definitely tune into Scott's AI blog, because there's a lot of stuff, like here's a little example of little things, right? Remember in the past how you'd make a pass, and let's say you had a defender between you in any mode, and he was an AI, right? Remember how all of a sudden he'd be running towards the guy down the court, you'd make the pass, and it was like magically his hand was up, catching the ball. That was like a really frustrating turnover for players, right? Now we have a system in the game, I forget the name of it, it's really funny. It's like, artificial stupidity or something like that, but that's not an official name. But basically, if the AI isn't looking towards where the passer is passing it, he's not going to go for a steal this year.
Wow, that's amazing.
So little things like that are across the gameplay board. And I'm still learning more about the game every day too. Like, you know, I don't have all the answers, but it's things like that are really cool when you start listening to what they've implemented in the game. And, like, you know, you talked about how do you make the game smoother every year. It's like smoother and smarter. You know, you want to fix legacy issues like Mike Wing was talking about in his blog, and I think he did a really great job of conveying all the work they did this year. And you know, it's pretty crazy though. Like, those things are the things that really excite me as a fan, and and looking at legacy issues like that they finally came up with a really great way to kind of prevent some of that, from happening, because fans, again, voice their opinions. I think the coolest thing about 2K17 for me, from my side, is that fans were very vocal on what they wanted. They were very vocal on what they didn't want, which is more important to us than what they want, right? We want to listen to what they don't want. Like, we don't want the praise. We want to know how we make our game better. And like, that's the attitude and passion of the entire team. So that extends off into the gameplay team, and they have their work cut out for them. And I'm just really ecstatic about the gameplay this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's the word that I keep coming back to. It's very fun.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Jay, go ahead and ask your last question. We don't want to keep LD2.
You know what I'm saying? He got a lot going on. I just got one more question, Mr. LD, and this is very important to me and to a lot of other people. Okay, so we do know that there are different mechanics. Everything is fixed. Everything is improved. So my question is, are loose ball saves possible now in 2K18? Because in 2K17, I worked on my player in my career, got his stamina 99, everything. But when it came down to it, if I deflected the ball and I tried to loose ball save it, or at least dive on the ball, my player either wouldn't even do the loose ball save animation, or he would just slide and grab the ball, but he would go out of bounds.
Slide out of bounds. Yeah. So one thing that's brand new is the loose ball. I guess they're called hustle plays. Some of my favorite moments, I was talking about D-Man and I kind of sliding for the ball. It's not like it was in the past. Like, this new system's crazy. You'll see defenders jumping over players. You'll see you're saving balls out of bounds. There's a lot more outcomes of loose balls this year. Those that make, loose ball dives. I think there's like a lot of new tie-ups and loose ball fouls even, if you're playing kind of it's the loose ball sequences in the game. There's so many now that it almost feels like a thing of the past when you saw that last year, because that was, you're right, that was something that needed improvements. And I think fans are going to be happy with all the loose ball hustle plays between two players hustling for that basketball. There's a lot of really cool things in the game this year, and that includes rebounding, by the way. So those 50-50 balls in this blog, like, the 50-50 balls help make the game feel, I believe he said something like a little messy, just like real basketball.
Right.
But not frustrating to where it's always, you're quickly picking up a ball or you're definitely going out of bounds. Like, there was really no reason to dive out of bounds last year, right, to your point. So, definitely those mechanics are really cool, and I think it's going to be I think it's based on like the hustle and hands rating. I think there is something in there. So, certain guys are going to be able to hustle harder than others, which is pretty cool too. So, I think that's one of my favorite new things about the gameplay, to be honest, is those loose balls. And it's hard to explain without seeing it, feeling it, it's easy to sit back and say, oh yeah, it's great, it's wonderful. Like, you're going to see some cool stuff.
Right.
And that's kind of like the exciting part of basketball, right? Remember a couple of years ago, and I can't believe I'm referencing the Celtics right now, but remember that loose ball that Rajon Rondo dove on the ground for during one of their championship runs?
It hurt his arm.
It just like changed the momentum of the game. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, like, it's a part of basketball, and I think it gets forgotten sometimes. Like those hustle plays. So it brings just another dynamic to an already like exciting, improved gameplay that I think fans are going to be pretty happy about. It's definitely one of the coolest things in the game.
Absolutely. Well, that definitely answered my question.
I mean,
Wait. Okay.
That's
wait,
it.
No. Wait.
Jay.
Wait. Okay. Wait.
What?
Okay. Wait.
Jay, come on, man.
Listen, vibe with me on this one, okay? Because this is about to help everybody.
Jay.
Now.
Go ahead. Listen to me. Look at me. Look at my face.
I'm looking at you.
You're ugly. Listen to me.
What?
This is your last question. You hear me?
Huh?
You're not asking.
I'll just add the man on Twitter. Matter of fact.
No, you're not going to add him on Twitter.
Why?
This is your last question.
All right,
Justin.
last question. I promise.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so my last question is, for these loose ball saves.
Justin! He just answered the question!
Wait! Boy, can you let me ask my question?
I'm about to hit you. Go ahead.
Can you let me ask my question?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. This is game 7. I forgot.
Okay, for the loose ball saves, will they be triggered by different buttons, or will it just be one button? Because in 2K17,
oh my God,
whenever there was a loose ball, If you hit square, he dove for the ball, and if you hit triangle trying to get the rebound, he dove for the ball. So what I'm saying is, it's like, will it just be like one button to do like everything, or is it gonna be two?
LD, please do not answer this. Don't.
LD, please.
Please don't.
LD, listen, I will shake your hand to this camera. Listen, please. I beg it of you, Mr. LD.
No. Here you go. So truthfully, I have to check. I don't know.
LD, I put my heart and soul into that question. LD, I put my heart and soul into that question. That was the last question I had that I knew for sure was going to be answered. Okay.
Can Jay get an L in the chat, please?
All right. Okay.
Can Justin get an L?
I have to find out. No, that's an interesting question. I have to find out. I think I dove with triangle, but I have to check. Let me check for you.
You know what? Everybody's going to boo me for asking a question that was legitimate. He just didn't have the answer, Sway. He didn't have the answer, Sway. So that's technically not an L because a lot of y'all was wondering if I would say it.
It's not an L because if we're ending the night on a loose ball diving out of bounds question, I think we're doing a lot of things right. So that's good. That's good to hear.
Exactly. Give me my dubs in the chat. LD, is that a W certified question? Please tell the chat because they're spamming L's in the chat. They're making me feel bad.
What I'll have Dirk do is DM me the same question, and then in the morning I'll find out for you. Like I honestly don't know. I can't think of that like in that start. I think I always hit triangle. Like that's what I'm trained to do is hit triangle. And I might even be wrong about that. I might be hitting square. Like I just don't remember what I press. So yeah, I mean I can ask. For sure.
You know his question was stupid.
No, that was a legitimate question. Don't you ever?
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. You know,
don't you ever?
Okay, look. Okay. Look, that's going to be in the stream, you guys. We don't want to keep LD too long. I know he's a busy man. Want to give a huge shout out. Please, first of all, do us a favor. Go ahead and follow me and Jay. Follow me at TremellDHazzard.
JustinLHazzard.
And follow us at TeamHazzBros on our actual Twitter and our individual Twitters. Please do me a huge favor. Y'all, please give a round of applause to one of our family members in the THB family, Ft.Dirkthecaster. Y'all, please give him some love in the chat. Y'all go ahead and follow him on Twitch at Ft.Dirkthecaster. Ft.Dirkthecaster. Follow him on Twitch. He's a very, very, very impressive and the best MPBA caster that there is out there. And Call of Duty caster. And make sure y'all do us a whole nother favor. Follow him on Twitter. Help him out with his Twitter. Just put in Ft.Dirkthecaster. He's the only one that's gonna pop up. Okay, he's the only. Just put in Ft.Dirkthecaster on Twitter. He's the only one that pops up. Okay, so put in Ft.Dirkthecaster. Dirk, go ahead and fill the chat up with your Twitter and your Twitch for us real quick. Go ahead and fill it up in the chat. And y'all, please give a round of applause to LD2K. Want to give a huge shout out to LD2K. Thank you for coming to the stream, man, and spending some time with THB.
No, it's not coming to the stream. He was on day 7. Thank you.
You know what? You know what? I'm up late. All I want to say, seriously, to the fans is thank you. Thank you for always giving us feedback, man. That's. I know it's easy to say we listen. Like our guys are listening. I think you're seeing that every step of the way. And let's talk after Thursday, boys. Let's talk after.
You know what? Okay. Hey Dirk. Hey Dirk. Are you free Thursday night?
Hey. You already know I got PTO off for that day, bro.
Okay. Look, I gotta ask you.
Yes.
Dirk, you need to go. Text your mom. Text your girlfriend. Because you're gonna shit your pants.
Wow.
Okay. So
this is juicy. Packed. It's okay.
So LD. After you guys run the stream on Thursday, that should we do a Thursday night, you guys? Should we do the stream Thursday? Because it
Thursday
takes
Thursday night.
Wait. Okay, listen.
Ride the hype train.
Okay, this is why I say that because I know a lot of people are going to be streaming that night, so everybody's going to try to stream it, and it takes a minute for our graphic design guy to give us all the stuff for the stream. I mean, it's streaming easy, like you know what I'm saying, like lining this stuff up. It takes a minute for us to line it up because you got to wait for him to get it done. Because you're trying to make it, like. It's game 7. It's like first take. It's like the NBA2K at first take. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it takes a minute for us to do this. So we'll definitely try to do a Thursday night. If we can't get a stream Thursday night, it'll be definitely Friday, and we'll do the stream Friday night. We'll let you guys know on Twitter if we do the stream Thursday night. But we will have Ft.Dirkthecaster here. I don't know if LD will be here because he'd probably be too busy. I don't know if LD will be here. But
I'll be in New York. But hey, send me a link and I'll listen to it because honestly. I've come into random streams. It's going to be exciting, when 18 the cycle starts and being able to join people's streams and kind of join I was literally just listening to your conversation, like, you know, checking off the boxes and kind of smiling a lot. I really appreciate fans debating, breaking down, playing the game. Dirk knows it's my passion, man. I don't have to be up at 12:10 talking to a random thing that I was listening to. I just get excited. So I appreciate all the fans, and like I said, definitely you'll want to stream Thursday. Don't kid yourself.
Well, definitely. I mean, that's our job. So we'll if we can stream on Thursday, we definitely will try to stream on Thursday. We'll try to get it done as quick as possible. So hopefully we can get it done by Thursday, y'all. But listen, thank you guys for coming to THB. I'm your boy TremellDHazzard.
I'm JustinLHazzard.
And this is TeamHazzBros. You guys just got to watching Game 7. We'll upload this stream to the YouTube channel. Thanks again to Ft.Dirkthecaster for coming through. Please follow him on all his social media. And LD2K, follow him on all his social media, because this man's all over the place. You
heard the man.
You heard the man.
You heard the man.
Place, baby.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen, Thursday, you guys, please go ahead and watch the NBA2K live stream on Thursday on all their social medias, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. They on Tinder, too. You just swipe right whenever they say something good. You just swipe right. Okay, so look, we up out of here. Thank you guys for coming to the stream with TeamHazzBros, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Love all y'all. Have a good night.
I've been thinking about you, baby. Yeah, I've been thinking about you, baby. Yeah, I've been thinking about you crazy. Yeah, I've been thinking about you crazy as fuck. I've been thinking about you, baby. Yeah, I've been thinking about you, baby. Yeah,